This is Dean Brenneman. I've joined.
Hey Dean, Lauren and Laura, I just want to let you guys know I am recording this meeting today.
Okay.
Thank you for announcing.
Yep. So if you guys do not want to be recorded, then that is your choice. But I am recording this meeting for my personal reasons, and guess we'll get this over with and do what we got to talk about. What we got to talk about. Is everybody here? Or are we still waiting on anybody?
We are waiting on one part.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and
Yes,
clear.
yes, we can. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell, for your patience. This is Dean Brenneman, Chair of the Country Place Homeowners Association Fining Hearing Committee, and calling our meeting to order. We have a quorum with committee members Dean Brenneman, Jonathan Stevenson, and Andrew Hediff in attendance, and property manager Lauren Wilson, and homeowner Dr. Mitchell is in attendance. Lauren Wilson, we do have a quorum. You have in your records and on file proof of notice. I know that I have it here that you sent it out, but you want to confirm that?
Yes. Notice was posted according to statute in your documents.
Okay. We have no past minutes to approve at this meeting, nor any other unfinished business. So we're going to move directly to agenda item number 5, new business. We'll note for the record that there was a previous hearing on this matter in March of 23, in which Dr. Mitchell was, in which we discussed a similar issue, or the same issue essentially. But this is a new citation for new violations. And the
Do we have a date on that violation?
on the violation notice,
The date on the last meeting, sorry, just a point of clarification for the date of the current violation on the books, or the date of the March that Dean was referring to.
The date of the violation we're speaking about today.
you have a number of multiple incidents that are documented. Lauren, please tell us the date, the number of violations and dates.
We have 31 verified violations in our system.
Verified by
pickup truck violation.
verified
By
by
photo,
photograph. Okay. And can you tell us
From
the
various
dates?
dates ranging from October. I don't have all the dates in front of me, but we have the first one I think started and verified in October, and ranging on multiple different dates from October until March, when the
Could I
board
formally
levied
request a copy
of $100.
those violations, of those photographed
Yes.
violations? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So the hearing committee relies upon the records of our property management firm in documenting these violations. And we will ask if Dr. Mitchell wishes to say anything about this.
Yeah, I think that, you know, in consideration of the upcoming changes to the laws in Florida starting July 1st regarding homeowners associations' rules against pickup trucks, that after speaking with an attorney, that unjust enrichment for fining me for these violations with the change of law upcoming so quickly can seem quite unfair.
Now, it is my understanding that the law has not been signed into effect.
That is correct, but it will be
And
effective July 1st and has so far been unanimously voted for yes by the House and the Senate.
right. And it's been sitting on the governor's desk for some time.
As of yesterday or 2 days ago.
And we don't know when or if it will be signed. Lauren, point of order, you have spoken with the association's attorney. Can you summarize?
Yes, yes, it is confirmed with Association Council that as the violations have been, submitted over this period of time, they do still stand in violation to the documents as far as statute and your documents are concerned today.
And Lauren, when was Dr. Mitchell first sent a notice regarding this violation?
For this one, for the violations that are on the table today,
Yes.
October of
And
2023.
And has there
Says
been
here, a letter was sent on November 30th, not October.
November 3rd. Okay.
has there been any response from Dr. Mitchell during this period of time between then and now?
He attended a board meeting at one point, but
And there was an exchange of several emails between Lauren and myself.
as far as I'm not sure what you're asking, Dean.
What I'm asking is if any effort was made to correct the violation.
I would say there has also been a number of times in the community where a violation has not been identified. So like the truck was not out. So,
So
there
has
have
been,
been
efforts to not park a pickup truck in the driveway since November 30th. But with my fast-paced lifestyle, I do come in and out of the house quite frequently and find it inconvenient to pull in the garage every single time, which may have contributed to those 31 violations.
may have as a rather indefinite explanation. Dr. Mitchell, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I would like to say that I'm sorry for wasting everybody's time here. I think that we can all agree that this is just an outdated rule, and I understand as board members you have a due diligence to serve your community and the neighborhood you live in, and so I just wanted to apologize for having to make you guys spend your evenings talking about this. I think we're all looking forward to July 1st.
Well, Dr. Mitchell, I appreciate your personal opinion on the matter. I don't know that I would make assumptions that all members of the board are in agreement with that position. They may or may not be, but I for the record, would not categorically commit that all board members are in agreement with that position. there is simply a current status, a current statute in effect, which has been consistently violated. And anyway, we'll get into that in discussion. But appreciate the sentiment of your apology. And if you have nothing further to add, we'll move to board discussion, finding committee discussion rather, of the matter.
I have nothing furthermore. You can continue your discussion.
Okay. So committee members Harith and Stevenson, would you like to chime in here with your thoughts regarding this violation?
I have to say I agree with Dean that not all the board members are in agreement with the change of the law or upcoming changes of the law, which I was not aware of. But there's been a continuing issue. We talked about it a year ago. We were aware of the problem a year ago, and yet here we are again. If you didn't like the rules, then you didn't need to buy the house.
I just find it, unfair enrichment that it's come so close to this effective date of this new law passing when you were aware of this occurring in October, and we're sitting here some 7 months later. It's just, now all of a sudden the law is going to change, so let's fine him now while we have an opportunity to capitalize on some money here. And I feel like that is just, unjust enrichment. So that's my opinion.
Rather you park the truck in the garage.
Living a fast-paced lifestyle, it's, I do a lot with work and family and friends and the community, and, hosting charity events to working out. I mean, pulling in the garage every single time is quite an inconvenience, and it's not like I drive a piece of crap. It's a nice truck. It's a nice truck.
Anyway, that's what I have to say.
And committee member Stevenson. Can you unmute? Jonathan Stevenson, can you unmute?
I don't believe there's a, oh yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's muted.
Hello.
Okay. Jonathan, do you have anything you would like to add to this conversation, to this discussion of consideration of this fine?
Well, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. Well, Dr. Mitchell, this is not the first time we've met about this issue with you and your pickup trucks in your driveway. And sad to say that it doesn't appear that you put any stock in the past fine that was levied for the same issue that the Homeowners Association deemed appropriate at that time. So I understand that you have your own excuses about why this is occurring, but I guess the question would be, why do you, in spite of the fact that you have a fast-paced lifestyle, understand, but the opening of a garage is usually just based on the flick of a switch or hitting a button in your automobile or your pickup truck. So it seems like it's more of an issue of just non-compliance and a wishing to not comply, as opposed to an inconvenience. Does that seem like a better assessment of what's going on here?
Not necessarily. I can agree with that. With I don't know if we've ever spent any time together, but I'd love to hang out one night and I can show you around the garage. I do a lot in there of working on things and building stuff, and when my wife pulls her car in, it's it gets real tight with my truck in there, and it's hard to get in and out. And so when I am in and out multiple times a day, it does provide quite an inconvenience to pull into the garage. And so I would have to disagree in the matter of fact of I'm not trying to make a point. It really is just an inconvenience here.
Mhm.
Well, I thought, when I saw that you had a new pickup truck, which was smaller than your last one, that this might be an opportunity to actually get the pickup truck in the garage.
The problem is it's just wider.
You know,
Now, the new one's wider, which makes it even more difficult.
I did not know that. So
Yeah.
it looked a little shorter, and that's
Length.
what I was kind of looking at.
Yeah.
In spite of that, well, I just would like to say that, this new law, so to speak, that has not been signed by the governor has been on his desk for probably at least a month now.
No, it's
And
been 2 days,
I am
actually.
not.
It was presented to the governor 2 days ago.
Oh, was it finally presented to him? Because we had notice of a potential change in the law
No, it was
many weeks ago.
unanimously passed from the House and the Senate, and then it was presented to the governor some 2 days ago. And then usually based on history of him signing the bills, it takes place a couple days before the effective date. So we would imagine that would happen late June. And that's just guesswork.
Well,
Yeah, that's if he decides to sign it.
That is correct.
I
think we could all agree he probably will.
Well,
I'm sure DeSantis drives a pickup truck.
okay. I'm not able to comment on what the governor might or might not be thinking, and I'm not willing to hazard a guess or make decisions based upon it. The matter before us is simply the fact that there has been an ongoing series of violations. I don't know what awareness of various committee members or board members have of this pending legislation. The first I heard of it was relatively recently. I do not follow the legislature closely and have any idea as to how quickly they might or might not move. I am concerned about a few things. One is that many other people have pickup trucks in the community, and I would venture to say would characterize their lifestyles as fast-paced and busy as well. Yet they do manage to park their truck consistently inside their garage. So there is no mechanism within our bylaws to show forbearance for that particular circumstance or any other circumstance, really. It's simply a black and white issue of our bylaws that they must be parked there. There is no current expressed desire by any majority of this community to change the laws. Apparently, it may be changed anyway by state law, but that has not come to pass, and I don't think really bears on the current situation, because we have to look at consistency and precedent, and to not enforce a fine because of a potential pending legislation is guesswork, really. As to unjust enrichment, it is my experience as a member of this community for over a decade, and that this board has generally gone out of its way not to impose fines, rather hoping that people will comply with the bylaws of the community and respect the common uh, requirement. And it has never been a substantial source of revenue to the um, association, to my knowledge. I cannot speak for any um, motivations of the board. We simply are presented with the fact of a violation and are asked to rule on whether or not the violation is in fact um, a correct interpretation of our bylaws and whether the fine being imposed is within the bounds of the board's purview to do so and give an up or down on it. So without any uh, other indications, it seems to me that we are in the position of having to call a vote of the committee members as to whether or not the board has correctly acted in imposing this fine, and we therefore approve or disapprove the legitimacy of this
How many people
fine.
are voting? Out of curiosity.
3 people. There
Okay.
are 3 members of the fining committee,
Okay.
and so. Do any of the committee members have anything further they wish to add to the conversation or to the consideration before we call a vote?
I don't know.
Does the property manager have anything further to add?
No, nothing on.
This is
Then,
Jonathan. Can you hear me?
Loud
yes.
and clear.
Okay. Well, Dr. Mitchell, before we have a vote on this, I just would like to get some more feedback from you on your intentions going forward, even between now and July the 1st. So far, you have, we've already had this issue and fined you on a previous occurrence for this very same violation. Does it matter to you at all that we're all here trying to maintain the community as the deed restrictions require us to do? Because it just seems like if the law is not changed, which I think is a possibility of happening, that we might, in 3 months, we might be back here again with this very same issue. And I would like to know, just speaking to you now, because we haven't talked in the past, is this such a thing that you would just like to, just keep coming back for this issue time and time again, and ignoring the wishes of the homeowners association, Country Place Homeowners Association?
I think I've really loved living here, and it's a great community, and I think that the board members do an excellent job upholding the standards of the bylaws. And my intentions moving forward are going to be based upon what happens today with this vote. If your team decides not to fine me today, I will take the maximum fine allocated by or governed by Florida of $1,000 and donate it to a charity of Dean's choice. But if they decide to fine me, then I will pay that money to the Homeowners Association of Country Place and continue to park my truck outside until the law changes. But I will park my truck inside until the law changes if you choose not to fine me.
As one member of the committee and as the chair of the finding committee, I reject the notion of myself personally directing any charitable donations or anything like that that might be represented as a quid pro quo. Um, and I'm troubled by your response, Dr. Mitchell, that essentially you do not wish to um, um, follow the written guidelines of the community and will continue to violate it if you don't, if the vote doesn't go the way you would like it to go. I find that deeply disturbing. Because while you may feel this one, if I may finish my sentence,
Yes, please, yes,
um,
absolutely.
the fact you have stated that you feel this law to be, very outdated, and you assume that all would like this restriction to go away. Um, I would say that that is a personally held view of yours and not of the majority, as I have seen in the past, of this community. And so uh, any individual in the community deciding to pick and choose what they will adhere to and not um, is troubling. Now, nobody wants to be a police force or live in a police state. Um, and everybody would like to go about living their life the way they want to live their life. But when um, something is been a consistent violation and a lack of willingness to to stay within the bylaws, having been formally cited for it numerous times, um, it's difficult uh, for me as one committee member to find where in our bylaws I have the latitude or the state laws, I have the latitude to ignore that. Um, so you wanted to say something else, Dr. Mitchell?
Yeah, I apologize if I didn't mean to um, feel like that it came off as such a threat that I was going to or not going to park inside. I do want to make a better effort to park inside and obey these rules that are in place for a reason. Um, and I just look forward to moving forward past this so that we don't have to deal with it anymore.
I appreciate that sentiment. And I appreciate your notifying us at the beginning of this that you are recording this meeting. It's your last sentence doesn't jive with your previous sentences, in my opinion. Um, and this has been a pretty blatant violation and a pretty strong unwillingness to comply, and picking and choosing what you will comply with and not uh, is how I read it from all appearances as a committee member reviewing this particular fining instance. And I sincerely wish we weren't having this conversation either. I think this is the worst committee to be on in the community, and because nobody wants to fine their neighbors or to deal with infractions. And the hope is always that people will find a way to cooperate and stay within the bylaws and respect the community standard. That said, do we have a motion from one of the other committee members regarding this fine?
Okay, I don't know what what make a motion to say. We agree with the fine?
A motion would be generally in the form of agreeing with the fine as proposed to be imposed by the board and authorizing that fine up to the maximum allowable by law or any other figure that the below that the fining committee felt was correctly justified.
And just a point of clarification, so the motion is to accept or reject the fine that has been imposed by the board.
How much
Right.
is the fine?
With 31 instances, it's $100 per instance.
But Florida has a statute governing the maximum allowed fine would be $1,000.
We will double check before anything's issued with your documents, but I believe your aggregate is different than the statute. And I think it's not to exceed 5,000 for your documents. But we'll confirm.
Okay, I make a motion that we impose the fine as proposed by the board of directors up to the maximum amount.
Point of clarification, up to the maximum amount allowed by all governing laws.
Yeah.
Okay, do
And
we have a second?
was that Andrew or Jonathan that made the motion?
That was
It
Andrew,
was Andrew.
Thank you.
Commissioner Haddock. Do we have a second?
This is Jonathan. I would second that motion by Mr. Harris.
Okay, then I call the motion to a vote. The motion is to approve the fine as proposed or as levied by the board up to the maximum allowable by all governing laws and our own bylaws. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The vote carries unanimously. Dr. Mitchell and the property.
Before, I would like to add, I would like to have, and I don't know if the board will need this in writing or if Lauren can send it, but we will need a copy of every single one of those violations with photographs, date stamped.
Yes, we will send you that.
Yeah, and then any submission of complaints from neighbors, I'm officially asking for as well. Copies of those complaints.
Okay.
So any violation with the properly filled out violation form with the attached picture and photo date stamped would be appropriate.
Okay.
If there's nothing further on this matter, then that will conclude item 5 on our agenda. And we move to item 6, which is general opportunity for homeowners to make comments or ask questions. And there being only one homeowner besides the committee members in attendance. This is an opportunity, Dr. Mitchell, for you to speak again if you wish.
I think
I'm going to have a comment. This is Andrew.
Okay.
Since we've been on the phone, I've gotten a text message saying, what's wrong with parking in the driveway from an anonymous number in the 206 area code, and one that says HOA suck big balls from some anonymous number in the 613 area code. I don't know where those generated from, but I don't appreciate it.
Wow. That's extraordinary and very unfortunate. Those were texts to your personal number?
Yeah.
That's entirely inappropriate.
Yep. Anyway,
And unfortunate.
just to add that to the minutes.
Okay. All right. And anyone else wish to say
Another
anything?
one, 469-500 saying, "Shut up, you're lame as hell." So
Wow.
getting more and more. So anyway,
So, Dr. Mitchell, are you perhaps live streaming this?
Yes, this is this video is being recorded.
And you are live streaming it and posting it somewhere?
I can neither deny nor confirm.
okay.
Okay.
So he's an asshole. All right. Okay, I'm going to drop off because I don't need this anymore.
All
Are we
right.
done?
Well, we will call this meeting to adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move
I
that
have a
this
motion to adjourn.
meeting be adjourned.
Okay. We have two.
Seconded.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. The meeting is adjourned.
Well, you guys really shouldn't have texted that guy. That was kind of messed up. But looks like we just got fined again for parking my truck in the driveway. They said they have 31 times, and it sucks, right? Live in a nice house, fined for parking a nice truck in your driveway, when I could have donated that money to charity in his name instead. But the law's going to change. And I believe that they can only fine me $1,000 per Florida law, because we went through this last time, and they refunded me some money because I think they charged me like $1,400, and I got a check back for like $400. So I don't know. I got to look into the law, but either way, clearly the 3 fining committee members were completely against me parking the truck in the driveway. Luckily, the law is going to change on July 1st. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, guys? All right, well, what a crappy way to end it off. I tried to be respectful. I tried to be nice. Don't send that guy text messages.